I got dog today. Okay, I'm gonna the stairs. Somebody's nearby and it's making me anxious, but whatever, it's whatever. Hey magical babes, Adelina here, and welcome to my vlog. I'm visiting my grandparents at the cemetery today. I'm visiting their graves, and I do it quite often. At least I try to do it once a month if I can. Recently, Lego produced a new Lego set of Tom and Jerry, and my grandfather's favorite show growing up and watching with me was Tom and Jerry. And I decided to bring my sketchbook along so that way I could sketch and just, talk out loud to them and just vibe and have a good time and just reminisce of the fun adventures we had. I'm not going to show their graves, but I am going to be sitting at a tree nearby their graves. And I hope you magical babes stick around for the fun. This is probably going to be a short and quick vlog, but I still hope you stick around. It's going to be a fun little time, well, for me. I hope you enjoy it, and if not, I'll see you on my next magical adventure. Come one, come all, or down the rabbit hole you shall fall. I'm kidding. Hey magical babes, Adelina here, and as you can tell, I'm a lot more cheerful than I was in the previous footage. I am at home, and every time I go to the cemetery, I get kind of sad, and it's only because I have really bad memories there. And I will tell you shortly. Every time I come to the cemetery and I sit down here at this exact spot with my little blankie and my sketchbook and my snacks or whatever I decide to bring on that particular day, I think of it as Cheesema time with not only my grandparents but all the other spirits, where I catch them all up on my life and my life events and everything going on currently during that time period. And at this point, I think the spirits are just used to me. It's just my assumption. But I know my grandmother. If she is the way she was here on Earth, she's making friends everywhere she goes. And sorry, that was my Tamagotchi paradise. I got the... Anyway, that's for another video for another time. I'm sorry, I got a little excited. So my grandmother passed away in 2024. I found out literally right before she passed away, and it was just because she was on, excuse me if I say this wrong, on hospice, and I was informed that I had to go see her right away. So I immediately left work and I rushed to the hospital. I spent the last few moments with my grandmother. I hadn't seen her since 2022, and I was not allowed to visit my grandparents up until the moment I literally found out that she was in the hospital. And I thought it was bonkers that I found out on her last few moments and she was in there for a week. So I was devastated. And again, this happened in 2024. I had my birthday this year in January, and if you know, I am a Capricorn. I visited my grandmother on the day of my birthday, on January 16th. A week or so after my birthday, and I'm telling you now, you may not believe me, everything I'm going to tell you now, and that's okay, that is your opinion. But the people I kept informing during this time period, from my birthday up until I visited my grandmother at her grave again in the end of March, no, it's true, because I was driving everyone crazy with this reoccurring dream that I was having over and over again. I want to say I had it at least more than 10 times. And it was of my grandmother at her grave, and I was visiting her, and she was in spirit form holding my grandfather's hand, and he was in spirit form as well. And because of this reoccurring dream over and over again, I knew in my heart that he had passed. And I was afraid to face my fear. I didn't want to go to the cemetery for a good while. I was heartbroken, and I didn't want to believe it was true. I was telling myself and lying to myself someone would have informed me. Someone would have told me anything. But I knew, and I should have known better. But the moment I had the first dream, the first time, I should have known better. But I kept lying to myself, not wanting to face my fear. And then when I finally couldn't handle it anymore at the end of March, I went to the cemetery and I saw his name right beside hers, and I broke. I stopped uploading on YouTube and on everything really. I started to keep to myself. I couldn't look in the mirror and lie to everyone, let alone myself, and pretend I was happy, because I wasn't happy at all, because I blamed myself that I wasn't there And I still blame myself now. And then I remember I wasn't allowed to because I was ignored. Every time I reached out to see them, I was ignored. And I remind myself it takes two to tango. And I'm happy that they're both together and both at peace. And I'm even more grateful so that my grandmother gave me my first camera at a young age, because I vlogged like crazy growing up. And here I am now as an adult on camera 4, and I'm still vlogging and I'm still filming. And I thank my grandfather for my love of filming so much, because he filmed my life up until the moment I was 1 or a few months old. I can't remember exactly the time period, but up until I was that young, up until my first brother was born. I am so grateful to know that footage exists, and I hope one day I'm able to retrieve it and change the footage from VHS to digital so I can rewatch those first few moments of my life, and they were there for me, and I just would really love to see them again at that point in time. And I am grateful for the footage I have now, though. I could still hear both of them laugh and smile and relive the moments that we were a family and happy. And I'm so happy for that and grateful, and I miss them ever so. Talking to them and sitting at the kitchen table as my grandfather told me about his life growing up and his life when he met my grandmother, and after they were together and their life blossoming together, and my grandma sitting at the head of the table eating her grapefruits or her snacks. I'm grateful for the time I had to spend with them. And this is a learning lesson for me to realize that I need to spend more time with those I love and cherish, as well as hold those moments that we share deeply close to me, because you never know when you see someone and it's their last moments with you, beside you, and they're gone in a blink of an eye. Although at times we are forewarned and we are told beforehand, so we could steadily brace ourselves for the impact, but others, it just happens spontaneously and it's out of your control. And I am grateful for my grandparents ever so for being in my life, because without them, I don't know who I would be today. When somebody compliments me on my mannerisms, etiquette, or how I uphold myself, I always thank them, and I refer to my grandmother. Inform them that I'm grateful for your comment, as well as being reminded how grateful I am for the upbringing from my grandparents. Because although I did find myself alone a lot of times growing up, and at the time I was sad about it, but it made me comfortable enough to find hobbies in myself that I enjoy, and I was able to spend as much time as I wanted with my grandparents because of it as well. Of course, when they weren't busy with work or doing what they had to do. I was brought up to be known as the family princess. So I always was dressed up everywhere we went, and it was quite funny to me because we were always at a gathering, whether it be a family party or a gathering of my grandmother's bosses, and it was quite fun yet interesting because I was able to wander and explore the clinic as well as the hospital, and it was interesting. I did learn that that's how I loved exploring and wandering about, although I did get caught wandering so much because I was falling everywhere. But lucky enough, I was already in the hospital, so what better place to get hurt than at a hospital? I was fairly clumsy. As you can tell, I still haven't grown out of it, and my grandmother tried to help me with that by putting me in karate, folklorico, ballet, in order to help me find my balance, and I have still yet to this day been able to do so. But I am doing great, you know. I think of it as like I'm giving my old best friend, the ground, a hug in a way, shape, or form. That's how I like to think of it as. Anyway, I also did other extracurricular activities that my grandparents put me in hopes of giving me a better life. I did orchestra for 7 years. Of course, art. I did art for quite some time. Although I did find a stronger love for orchestra at a point in my life that I received my first violin. And I was able to play in front of my grandparents in the living room for a lot of times that I had to practice for recitals. And being first violin, like, I I was just overwhelmed with everything in my studies at the time. And again, as many times as I probably said it in this video, I am happy that I did have my grandparents in my life. And in a way, they were my parents since they practically raised me a good amount of my life. I know in my heart they're always going to remain with me. But for now, I'm grateful for the special memories that I was able to obtain throughout these years and these moments I shared with them. In the end, it was a memorable experience at the cemetery to replace the previous bad memories that I had. So thank you, Magical Babes, if you made it this far in the video, and I really appreciate you, whether you're a returning subscriber or a new viewer. If you'd like to stick around for future adventures, don't forget to subscribe down below. And I hope you have, regardless if you're returning or not, an enchanting day. And I truly hope to see you on my next magical adventure. Enjoy some footage of my lovely grandparents. Goodbye. That's a $70 cake.
Or you want cupcakes?
Oh, Grandma, I'm okay.
For your birthday,
I'd rather get a small cake. Let's see. I got cupcakes and Grandma's getting me. Yeah. Cheese, cute. Happy birthday, Popo. Cheese, oh. Cheese. Popo's like, I just want to eat this cake. Popo just wants to taste his cake already. Just a little piece. Oh, cuidado.
Yep.
Yay! Happy birthday. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're still in photo session right now. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Popo. Happy birthday to you. Yay! And many more. On channel 4. Happy 80th birthday. Go, Popo, go. Oh.